I think that Bitcoin is a million times better than gold and is going to gradually demonetize gold over time. So no, gold will go to the utility value of gold, whatever that utility value is. But I don't think it's going to be adopted as money in the 21st century. I think Bitcoin is a better gold than gold. You can move it at the speed of light. You can see with the Lightning Network evolving that pretty soon we'll have 1 billion people able to move any block of Bitcoin anywhere friction free. And so Bitcoin is digital money for the 21st century. Gold was metallic money for the 19th century. So I just think if you believe in sound money, then you should do yourself a service and you ought to sell your gold and you ought to buy Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is sound money for the 21st century and gold was sound money for the 19th century. Just that simple. I think a great deal of the bad behavior has been flushed out. I don't think you can say everything. I think there's still a lot of unregistered securities in the crypto ecosystem. And it's undoubted that Bitcoin is cross-collateralized against some of those unregistered securities. And there's more regulation coming to anyone that's in this space, more clarity. So I think the worst of it is behind us, but I don't think that the industry has been clarified or completely rationalized yet. I think that there's thousands and thousands of cryptos that need to disappear. Right? I think there's a 99% rationalization rate that needs to happen. And so I just think we went through an pretty important deleveraging. And I think that people will be much more careful in the way they view things going forward than they were a couple of years ago. I think we were in a Wild West stage the first decade of the industry, and I think we need to grow. We need adult supervision in the industry, and there's an entire generation of people that need to understand counterparty risk and basic risk management, and they also need to understand the difference between a security and a commodity. And with all due respect, there's still a lot of people that don't really understand the ethical or legal difference between a security and a commodity. That's brutally unfair. No. The facts of the matter are, on August 10th of 2020, we embarked on a Bitcoin strategy. And when we did that, the enterprise value of our software business was about $66 a share. And as I'm speaking with you right now, the stock is trading $329 a share. Our shareholders have made billions of dollars since we started this strategy. No one's lost. If you actually look at the performance of Bitcoin since we actually bought $250 million of it and embarked on a Bitcoin strategy, Bitcoin's up 101%. And that's the S&P's up 23%, the Nasdaq's up 15%, gold is down 12%, bonds are down 15%, and silver is down 28%. So in fact, Bitcoin smashed every single asset. The only thing that outperformed Bitcoin in that time period is MicroStrategy stock, up 166%. So we actually performed 1.6x Bitcoin. Now, if you look at what we could have done, we could have competed with the enterprise software companies in our industry. The best performing enterprise software company in that time period is Oracle. Oracle's up 39%. MicroStrategy's up 166%. IBM's up 2%, Salesforce is down 4%, SAP's down 40%. We're definitely not losing. Now, if you want to compare us to the best companies on earth, the strongest companies on earth that are more powerful than governments would be Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Those three big tech companies are up 58%, 46%, and 34% respectively. Amazon down 11, Facebook down 35, Netflix down 52. MicroStrategy up 167%. And one last factoid, out of the 500 S&P companies, there are only 14 companies that outperformed us in the time period. We outperformed 97% of the S&P. And the ones that outperformed us, you could have guessed, are like energy companies, and they were selling oil when oil hit $0 a barrel, and their stocks smashed back. So we're totally fine. I'm fine. The company's strategy is working well. You know, we've been planning to do this for 4 years. So I just think we got caught up in some very colorful media. You may know, most people don't, I'm the controlling shareholder of MicroStrategy. I have 68% of the voting shares. And I started the company 33 years ago. So I've been the CEO for 33 years. I'm the chairman of the board. I'm the controlling shareholder. And I've been talking about Bitcoin for 2 years. And about 2 years ago, we promoted a gentleman, Fong Li, to be the president of the company. And he was the president and the CFO. So he's been running the day-to-day business hands-on as the president for the past 2 years. And 99% of the activity of the business is selling software. So we have 2,150 people. We sell software, we make software. We have thousands of customers. We do thousands of transactions a quarter. We hire hundreds of people a year. We train thousands of people a year. All of the activity is enterprise software. It turns out that once a quarter we do a Bitcoin transaction. And I talk about it a lot. So if you think about it, you realize that, you know, it's very logical for the CEO of the company to be the person that actually manages the day-to-day business, because all the transaction and all of the labor intensity is all about software. I don't need to be the CEO in order to oversee the Bitcoin side of the business, because I can do that as the chairman of the board and as the chair of the investments committee, where we provide oversight for Bitcoin acquisition, and maybe once a quarter we might do a big deal, like borrow 200 million or issue equity or something, or we might buy Bitcoin, but it really is something that can be best supervised at the board level. I think that the way to think about investing in Bitcoin is you should only invest what you're going to hold for 4 years or longer. And ideally, it's generational wealth transfer. And then you should dollar cost average into it. And for the average person, if they dollar cost average into it as a strong long-term store of value, they'll be fine. And the metric you ought to stare at is probably rolling the simple 4-year moving average. Right, and if you look at the simple moving average over 1,458 days, it very rarely touches that point. It went slightly below it in the depths of the crypto crisis, and now it's trading above it. That number is 22,266. So if you think of that and you say, I know I'm going to hold at least 4 years, then it isn't that anxiety-inducing. If you have a short time horizon, like you want to make money in 4 weeks or 4 months, it's going to be much more stressful because it is a volatile asset. And the volatility impacts two types of people. It impacts people that are short-term investors, that they want to make a quick buck or they just never want to lose money. And the volatility also impacts public companies or companies that